I won't tell men I'm on birth control. I don't think there's a thing wrong with it either. Mini rant incoming. Men seem to think if you're on BC, they don't need to wear a condom, and will be less careful, more likely to stealth, and much more likely to pressure you into condomless sex. They disregard the risk of STDs, because they're at less risk to begin with. How are they being harmed? They aren't. They have no valid reason to be upset or complain even if they did find out. Men do not have a right to know about what medications you're on just because they're a sexual partner. You might be thinking, well, you really shouldn't be sleeping with somebody if you don't trust them. The thing is though, there are different levels of trust. And sometimes people can trick you. You can trust somebody and still be betrayed by them. So, I think since it's my body and my life on the line, it's fair to play it safe. Again, what actual harm is this causing? Sure, it could be considered a vetting process to tell them you're on BC and see if they pressure you to have condomless sex. But they might not verbally discuss this. They may just decide that it's okay if the condom slips off a bit, or that it was implied that they don't need to wear one. All without ever saying anything to you. Personally, I'd rather not leave room for some man to decide what risk level one should be okay with taking. I will always double up on birth control methods. And condoms are for STDs as much as they're for preventing pregnancy. I don't care if it makes some guy upset that I needlessly forced another man to wear a condom. I don't care. I do not consent to condomless sex. And me being on BC does not change that. It's selfish whining in my book. I have to be careful. Why shouldn't he have to be? I consider birth control a safety net, not my primary means of preventing pregnancy. If they think I could get pregnant with a drop of sperm, they'll be more careful. If they don't know I'm on the pill, they won't know to sabotage my pills. I see only upsides on my end and zero actual downsides on their end. And no, I don't consider you should never lie to your partner about anything a valid reason not to do this. Lies that are for your own safety are okay. Don't let a man tell you otherwise. Besides, if I was in a serious, long-term relationship where there was real trust built up, I would probably tell him. I'm talking here about hookups, flings, and other short-term things. I did the same thing when I was in my sleep around stage. Always double up BC methods, but never tell the other person, due to pressure to stop using condoms. You're protecting yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. A long-term relationship is different. You don't have an obligation to tell every fling that you're on BC. Totally reasonable. I'm surprised that many guys will just blindly trust that their sexual partners are diligent at taking their birth control right from the start. Like, maybe she's a bit forgetful or busy. I see nothing wrong with doing this. One bit of caution: I cannot take birth control and it hasn't stopped men from stealthing, lying, begging, etc. There are plenty that simply don't care about the risks if it means they get 30 seconds of pleasure. What would be a valid reason someone could use to justify being upset that they weren't informed earlier that you were on birth control? We could have been having unprotected sex this whole time. If I had known you were on birth control, I wouldn't have felt so anxious about the condom tearing, and would have been less careful. It's not at all like hiding an STD. The only harm to a man is that they weren't fully trusted with that information in the beginning. I think this is a really good idea, especially with the criminalization of abortions. Hormone-based birth control just isn't reliable, but most men don't understand that or don't care. Oh dude, that's awesome. For the guys out there that try to pull a sneaky on you and try to convince you to go no condom. Anyway, card their asses, get their ID, get their name, and their phone number. Then tell them that if you get pregnant, you need to be able to track them down without the slightest bit of trouble. If some guy so much as makes a peep about having to wear a condom, I am out of there. Pants on and out the door. This is a great idea. And if they do know about your birth control, guard it. Have an empty compact for role-playing or whatever. But guard your actual functioning birth control closely. No one knows where mine is except me. Perfectly reasonable. One of my friends straight up told me he rather his so be on BC so he doesn't have to use a condom. It did bug the hell out of me even despite me knowing he makes sure he's clean of STDs and shit. Because honestly, it doesn't matter if it doesn't feel right. Emotional safety still takes a huge priority over mild discomfort. Pregnancy isn't the only thing that's sexually transmissible. I'm a man, I don't blame you. That's your information to tell and your concerns are valid. This is genius. Men should at least do 50 of the birth control Bruden. They should wear a condom every time. What does it hurt? We don't owe anyone anything. If wearing a condom makes them mad and sad, they can have sex with someone else. I am 100 right there with you. Honestly, I'm a guy, and this wouldn't bother me at all. I'd also be fine with just being asked to put on a condom though. So, I agree with this 100%. Most men want to pressure women for sex without a condom, and anything that encourages them to wear and keep the condom on should be encouraged. My mom got me on BC at 15. My 18-year-old sister had just got pregnant. Her speech to me about it was as follows: this is not permission to have sex. If you do have sex, you still need to use a condom. This was in the 80s and HIV and AIDS was new and scary. I always used a condom. I stopped the BC at 22 because I hadn't been active in a long time. I never started it again. I just always required a condom. Luckily, I was either sterile or just really lucky, because I never did get pregnant. I'm too old to now. So there's that. Why are men acting like their nuts are caught in a door jam when women talk about wanting to take measures to protect themselves? Are men okay? Why the rage? Don't men tell other men to stay safe out here, lads, and don't get married or get a prenup? So why do men get angry when women want to protect themselves and tell other women to do the same? Are only men allowed to protect themselves? I wish someone told me this when I was younger. Damn. Unless I'm seriously dating them, a guy will never know what medication I'm talking. It's not their business unless they ax. I will answer if they want to know. They never ax. And if they think they don't have to use condoms, they can FK off. Your point about not disclosing which medications you're on is perfect. Should they also list their meds? Anything for anxiety, depression, erectile dysfunction? Don't see anything wrong with it, honestly. Same. And I make it clear that I don't think I could ever have an abortion. It's okay for other people, just not for me, for extra added security. You're damn right. I wish I did this. 2 times didn't do it with a condom. Both times regretted it. Tested like crazy. Thankfully never got an STD. This is a good tip. Well, not anymore because I'm in a long-term relationship and we tried getting pregnant and I am now. Friend of mine got a random lady he just met pregnant because he thought she was on the pill. She wasn't and never told him that she was. He just didn't want to wear a condom because he doesn't wear condoms because they're uncomfortable. Now he's going to be a dad because abortions in my country is pretty much illegal, and that poor girl is going to have to go through hell just because he cared more about the comfort of his dick for 10 minutes. Sometimes they just don't give a shit and will do what they want anyway.